Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, guys, we have a little bit of this live stream. I literally just caught this. I caught this article 2 minutes before I was going to go on. So I'm going to focus on this to start with, Christianity at the moment, because today in London, I believe it is, there's a Christmas carol service planned by Tommy Robinson. He's going down there and they're going to have a Christmas carol service in London. Now, I just caught the back end of this. Literally, I just opened an article then literally, I mean, you can't make this up, guys. The church are now criticizing Christianity. You heard that right. The church in England are criticizing Christianity, guys. I'm not making that up. I'll share with you guys this article here. So this is, let me put this on the screen just for a second. Church of England responds to Tommy Robinson's Carols event with Christmas is for all message. Now, I will share with you guys that. In fact, let me get this up. Give me a second. Now, I will share with you guys that video in a minute once I've spoken about this article. However, as we are right now, guys, this is absolutely crazy. So I'm just going to read down this article a little bit because it does look like the church are anti-Christmas. The Church of England has released a video in response to a Christmas carol event on Saturday being organised by the far-right activist Tommy Robinson amid calls for from a growing number of senior church figures to challenge Christian nationalism. So what we're having now, we're literally having the church challenging Christianity. Yeah, you heard that, guys. You heard that right. So you have a situation now where the church are actively challenging a carol service. Does that make sense to anyone, or is it just me that sounds absolutely insane? So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining for the first time, I'm going to say that again. Here in the United Kingdom, we have a church that is challenging Christianity. And let me share, do you know what? Before we go on, I'm going to share with you guys this video. Where is it? Oh, I'm sure I've just brought that up. Is that it? Yeah, there it is. So I'm going to share with you guys this video. So this is the video that the church have released in response. Now, tell me what the first thing you notice about this video is. And I will share this again later.
Cathedral.
So what's the first thing that you notice about this video, guys?
Every year we hear stories that somehow Christmas is being cancelled.
Or that somehow the joy of Christmas is under threat.
It's news to us.
Because in every church,
every parish,
Every cathedral.
in every corner of our country,
You will find a story of hope and love.
What the fuck was that? What's that? What is that? Honestly, guys, I don't mean to be disrespectful, and I'm not being disrespectful. I'm asking a question. What is that? Literally, what is it? You know, I don't mean whether it's a man or a woman. What I actually mean is, what are they doing? Literally, what are they doing right now? Like, what does that mean? I don't know.
Story of hope and love.
You can find Christmas.
In a candlelit carol service proclaiming the good news from the angels.
Now, Nigel Farage released a video yesterday, and all over London, he went, you know, I think he was, I don't know, maybe it was one of these reporters or something that drove through London, and they were looking at so they went through the whole of London, and nowhere in London does it say Happy Christmas or Merry Christmas or Christmas. The word Christmas has been removed from London. That's what Nigel Farage was reporting yesterday. So when people say that Christmas has been removed, I kind of get it. You know, I kind of get it. Christmas has been eroded. Now, let me continue with this video, and then I'll
service by picking stars
In open air carols in the streets.
It's Christmas.
Who's that? Who is he?
It belongs to us all.
And everyone's invited.
Whether you've been going to church for 50 years,
5 minutes.
or have never been before.
Come and spend Christmas at a church near you.
So that video there is the video that the church have responded in response to Tommy Robinson's church carol service that's going on tonight. And look, guys, like looking at that video, apart from that nativity with all those kids, like I wouldn't trust any of those, like, you know, any of those vicars or, you know, people. It just looked like the cast of Big Brother. It did. It looked like the cast of Big Brother. That's not that's not what I want. I don't want that. I want that. You know that Syrian Orthodox what's his name? I can't remember his name. You know the guy who got stabbed in the church? What's his name? He's a bishop. He's like a Syrian bishop and he's got like the cloak and the hood. Like, that's the type of guy I want to listen to. He's the type of guy I want to listen to. I don't want to listen to like wokey, overweight, fat men that may be women. You know, I don't want to listen to those type of people, guys. All right. Right now in the United Kingdom, I'm going to go back to this article, guys, because we have a very dark situation where we literally have the Church of England criticizing Christianity. I'm not making that up, guys. I'm not making that up. We have and I'll read this as an article released this morning, Saturday the 13th of December in The Guardian. And I'll come on to the migrant crisis in a minute, but this caught me up. I only just saw this last minute before I came on. So the Church of England responds to Tommy Robinson's carol event with Christmas for All message. Release of a 43 video second that you guys have just seen comes as senior church figures speak out about the dangers of Christian nationalism. What dangers are we seeing in Christian nationalism? Like, you know, I don't know. Where are the dangers in Christian nationalism there? People who want to be Christian and people who are proud of being Christians. Is that not a good thing? Surely is that not a good thing? Because all these woke left, you know, liberal, you know, vicars and bishops, I don't feel they represent the church. So the church is there. I'll read you this article, guys, because it is absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. Just say this to yourself. The Church of England is criticizing a Christmas carol service. Yeah, the Church of England, guys, are criticising the carol service that's being held today in London. So the Church of England has released a video in response to a Christmas carol service event on Saturday being organised by the far-right, I'm just reading it, guys, by the far-right activist Tommy Robinson, amid calls from a growing number of senior church figures to challenge Christian nationalism. Like, what are they going to do? Are they like, what is it now? Is being Christian? Are the church going to outlaw being Christian? It wouldn't surprise me, guys. It wouldn't surprise me. In the 43-second video that I just shared with you guys, Christmas Isn't Cancelled, posted on the church's YouTube channel, more than 20 people from the Archbishop of York, school children, speak out about the joy and love and hope of Christmas. Why is the word Christmas being removed then? Literally, why is the word Christmas being removed? The message is a simple reminder that Christmas belongs to all of us. Kind of only belongs to Christians, surely. Surely it only belongs to Christians. No? I don't know. And everyone is welcome to celebrate. The Church of England said a number of its leaders are speaking out against the dangers of Christian nationalism. Like, you know, if you're in a church and your numbers are absolutely dwindling and you're having to graffiti the walls just to get people in and you're having to let Muslims pray in your church. And look, guys, that's not a slur against Muslims. It's kind of like, you know, if you want to be part of a club, and you've got the club rules, That's the club. You know, if I want to join a golf club, and I don't, but if I wanted to join, do you know what? I actually do want to join a golf club, but that's a different story, right? If you want to join a golf club, right, and that golf club says, right, you've got to wear trousers and you've got to wear a particular type of shoes and you've got to wear a collar in the clubhouse. They're the rules, right? They're the rules. If you start changing those rules, that's not the golf club that you joined. You see where I'm going with that, guys? So right now, I mean, Christianity is making a comeback, but not the liberal woke Christianity. That's not making a comeback. Christian nationalism is making a comeback, and I'm all for that, guys. I am 100% for that. I think it's fantastic. I do. I think it's powerful. But if you're a vicar, right, and you've got this walkie church, you've got this walkie liberal church, right? You've got the Muslims praying over there. All right, we've got a load of Muslims praying over there, you know, and the gays doing their gay stuff over there, you know, because you've had to let people in because, like, you're not getting any numbers through the door. And you've got your graffiti artist, you know, and he's spraying his little graffiti all over the wall. Like, you've got to question, haven't you, if you're doing something wrong or not. Sorry, guys. Let me put the chat on. Sorry, guys. The chat's on. Sorry, guys. The chat's up. You know, so when you look at these wokey left liberal vicars, I don't know where they're going. Anyway, let me continue, guys. So a number of its leaders are speaking out against the dangers of Christian nationalism. You know, like more people going to church. We don't want this Christian nationalism. It will mean more people will come to church. Ridiculous. And the appropriation of Christian symbols to bolster the anti-migrant views of Tommy Robinson and his supporters taking part in the Unite the Kingdom event. You see, symbology is a really powerful thing. You know, it is. It's a really powerful thing. You know, what's that song? I think there's a song by a maiden, A Sign of the Cross. I'm not going to recite it to you because I'll probably get the live stream banned for copyright or something. But people need to, like Batman. I'll go with Batman. I don't think I can get done for Batman. So, you know, Batman, he becomes Batman because it's a symbol. And you can't corrupt a symbol. It's just a symbol. That's what it stands for. People can be bought. People can be sent away. People can be put in prison. Symbols are everlasting, you know, so you can go back, you know, hundreds of thousands of years actually, you know, and you can find these, you know, these symbols of Christianity, and they're the things that unite people. So right, so that's my little thing about that, guys. I'm sorry if that wasn't in the in the correct didactics as I normally do it. It literally, I just caught this article like 2 seconds, about 2 minutes before I was going to come onto the live stream, but I will come back onto that, ladies and gentlemen. But the Church of England are criticizing. The Church of England are challenging Christianity. Yeah, you heard that right, guys. The Church of England are challenging Christianity. And that is from an article released today in The Guardian, today, the 13th of December at 0700. You can't make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to jump onto the migrant crisis now. I'm not. I'm going to jump onto the chat. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, guys, I guess we're on. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about Christianity. We're talking about the migrant crisis. And we're talking about British politicians who are now, I've spelled actively wrong. I was in a rush this morning, guys. I will sort the spelling mistakes out in the title once we've closed this time. In fact, can I do it now? I can't do it while we're live. Sorry. I will sort the spelling mistakes out, guys. I was in a bit of a rush this morning. So right now, you know, I don't know if he's still there, but we have this guy. In fact, let me go to the chat. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Nick Dom is saying Bulgaria has overthrown their government, apparently. Yeah, that was wild. Are you going to Tommy's Carol service? No, I'm not going to Tommy's Carol service, but I do think it's a fantastic thing. I don't like going to London, guys. It's you know, you spend a lot of money going to London. You don't really get anything back from that. Show us a front flip or something. I can't do a front flip, guys. I can't do a front flip. I can't do a front flip, but I can do a fantastic Mawashigeri. I can do a fantastic Mawashigeri, guys. John, I don't know what your thumbnail is, John, but it looks fantastic. It's like an esoteric. I don't know. Is that like the? I don't know what that is, but it's beautiful. John Starbird is Starboard out, port home. Starboard out, yeah, posh. Port out, starboard home. Sorry. John Starbird is saying the bishops are traitors. I feel they are as well. When I looked at that video, you know, and I saw those, you know, I wouldn't trust those people with my kids, guys. I'm just saying. I wouldn't trust those people with my kids. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? The Syrian Orthodox Christian bishop who he's got like a YouTube channel. He's fantastic. I just want to listen to that guy. Silly Gallardi is saying my cutie is all lit up, and we have a lovely mass market for our 17,000 Christians who live in Haifa. James is saying many churches don't talk about revelation, Bible prophecy, and a relationship with Jesus, which should be the core of Christianity. Listen, guys, at the moment we are talking. I'm going to jump onto the migrant crisis in a minute, but the comments on the chat are quite potent. Right now in the United Kingdom, we have a very peculiar situation where the Church of England are criticizing Christianity. You know, the Church of England are now criticizing Christianity. The same Church of England that are letting Muslims pray in their churches and letting people come in and graffiti the walls. Right, guys, I'm just gonna jump down to the bottom. Churches are great places to meet people from your local area. And James, just before I jump back on, if I've got one more comment before I jump back onto this. I met the Archbishop of Canterbury, Lord Carey, a few times. He comes across quite stern, but was actually a lovely old chap. Well, don't we have a woman now? Don't we have a woman now as an archbishop? Now, is that not heresy, guys? Again, is that not heresy that we have a woman as the Archbishop of Canterbury? I'm pretty sure in the Bible, you're not allowed to be you're not allowed to speak the word of God if you're a woman. And again, whether you agree with that, that's fine or not, that's absolutely fine. What I'm saying is you can't say that this book is the word of God if you want to change things around it. You know, oh, this is the word of God, but I don't like that word of God, so I'm not going to abide by that. And I'm not going to abide by that one either. And we're going to allow gays to get married in the church, you know. So, like, it doesn't make any sense because that's not the book that you're abiding by. Go back to the golf course, guys, all right? If you want to go to a golf course, all right? If you want to go to a golf course and you want to be part of that club because you like the way that club operates, you know, you go into that club and all the men are wearing the blazers and they've all got collars and ties on when they're having like their sandwiches afterwards, you know, that's fine. Don't go to that club and then try and make everybody wear, like, I don't know, jeans and t-shirt, because that's not going to be the same club that you joined. You know, it's just ridiculous, guys. It's just ridiculous. Right, let me jump onto this migrant crisis now, because right now, ladies and gentlemen, we have this guy, Zach Polanski. I don't trust that second name. And look, guys, this is my opinion. This is my speculation. You guys know, you guys have been following me for a while. I feel like I'm a good judge of character. I'm not always right. I'd say I'm right a lot more than the times I'm wrong. So we've got this guy, Zach Polanski. I think he's the leader of the Green Party. He is out in Cali at the moment, or he might be back now, I don't know. But he's out in Cali and he's assisting with these NGOs that are helping the migrants cross the border. Now, look, guys, I'll be quite clear. The solution to the migrant crisis, it's not in the United Kingdom, it's in France. That's where it needs to be stopped. The solution is to start an NGO, Christians for Cali, Brits for Cali, Cali Resistance, doesn't matter what it's called, but you need to start a non-government organization in Cali. This is how you stop the boats, guys. This is how you stop the boats. You start an organization in Cali, a non-government organization, you register it, you go through the same legal framework as all the other NGOs, you probably get funding. And what you do, you say your NGO is to provide security and monitoring to the people of northern France. And you're going to clean the beaches up. And by cleaning the beaches up, I mean you're literally going to clean the beaches up. You're going to walk on those beaches. You're going to pick up any beer bottles, crisp packets, rubber dinghies, outboard motors, jerry cans of petrol. Because you do find them, guys. You do find those things on the beaches of Cali. They are there 100%. So that's how you stop the migrant crisis. Nothing else will, that's how you stop the small boats. I've not figured out how we stop the airplanes yet, but that's how you stop the small boats. These guys that are going over, I think it's fantastic. They're going to get sent to prison. They're going to end up in a French jail. They're going to end up in a wing, they're going to end up in a French jail, in a wing full of Muslims, and they're going to know that these were the people that were trying to stop the boats. And it's not going to be a good time for them. They're not going to have a good time in that jail, guys. They're really not. And that's what's coming. Again, this is me talking of, this is me going down these, these things have to be done properly. They have to be done professionally. They have to be done sustainably. So if you want to stop the migrant crisis, if you want to stop the small boats, I think somebody just put on the chat that there are 4 boats heading their way right now. You've got to understand the problem. And I was watching one of these videos. What was it? Is it Unite the Colours or something? The guys that are going out there basically, and is it Unite the Colours? I don't know. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? The guys that are going out there and they're doing what they can. And I think it's fantastic. I was watching one of their videos, and they were very critical of the French police. But you can't be critical of the French police. And the French government saying, you should be stopping this. That's fine. You can be critical, and they should. The British government should, but they're not. So, you have to do things yourself. So while these people are criticizing the French police for helping the migrants, imagine it if it was your country. Just imagine for 1 second, guys. Look, guys, before I go on to this, I'm British. I'm Team GB. If it was me, if I was in charge of the country, this would be dealt with very differently. But if it was me and I was in charge, it wouldn't be dealt with. So I just want to put yourself in the situation of the French police in northern France, and then put yourself in the situation. Pretend you live in northern France, right? You live in the countryside in northern France, and where you live, there's a migrant camp with 1,000. Predominant, you know what, guys? I drove through there last week. Last week I was in there, and I drove through one of the migrant camps, and I didn't see any women or children. I saw 0 women or children. I'm not saying that women and children are not there. I'm saying I didn't see any. 0 women, 0 children. So I'm going to say, imagine you live in northern France, right? And you are, you've got a detached house, a single house. And there's this migrant camp 200 meters away with over 1,000 fighting age men from North Africa, Central Africa, Pakistan, Iraq, Afghanistan. Who knows where these people are from, and they're walking around your house at night time, looking through your windows, how are you going to feel? They're doing nothing wrong. There's no law against that. There's no like in the United Kingdom, there's no law. Like I didn't realize, but there's no criminal offense if you walk into someone's house. I didn't realize this. But in the United Kingdom, it's not a criminal offense if you just walk into someone's house. I didn't know that, guys. I genuinely thought that it was a criminal offense to walk into somebody's house. Turns out it's not. We know this because migrants are walking around the UK trying people's door handles, trying to get in. You guys have seen the videos as much as I have. So, there's no law being broken. Like, how do you think those people feel in those houses? Here in the United Kingdom, we put the migrants up in hotels. We give them nice warm beds. We give them 3 meals a day. If we stopped that, we would have a similar situation in the United Kingdom. And we've already got it, but it would just be exacerbated ridiculously. We're not on a slippery slope, guys. We are on a slippery slope, and we're not going the right way on it. We are sliding down that slippery slope. So it's very, there's lots of aspects to this migrant crisis in northern France, and to give more money to the French government, it's not going to work, because the French police, when they're seeing the crime, I don't know if this is the case. I can only speculate that the French police would see the crime rate increase in proportion to the migrants in those camps. I think that's fair to say. So those French police are going to want to get rid of those migrants, right? Right? They're going to want to help them over that channel. And you can point your fingers as much as you want. If that was me, and I was a French police officer, I'd get them all on boats and send them, right, the UK's problem now. I would. Because people are trying to do the best they can with what they've got. So the solution to this migrant crisis, ladies and gentlemen, is to form an NGO, a non-government organization in northern France. You form a non-government organization in northern France. You provide security and monitoring for the people of northern France, and you also tidy the beaches. That's the reality, guys. That is the reality. That is the reality. So, I mean, can you imagine it? Like, can you imagine it, guys? I mean, I think that, the guy with the tattoos on his face, the biker guy, I don't know what his name is. I was very critical of him from day one. And it turns out, look, guys, when I say to you guys, I'm a good judge of character and I look at somebody straight away and I'll say yes or no. The guy with the tattoos on his face, remember when I said to you guys, yeah, be wary of this guy. Straight away, I said that. I said, be wary, because he was asking for like 50 quid or something. I think that little project, I don't know if this is true, guys, so please fact check me. This could be wrong. I saw on the internet, and again, look, guys, this could be wrong. It might be wrong. But I heard on the internet that they'd raised over £1 million. Where's that gone? Where's that £1 million gone? I don't know. What I'm getting at here is to open one of these NGOs in northern France. There's going to be it's going to cost, there's going to be a cost around it. Okay. There's going to be a cost around it. And that cost, I believe, would be £1 million a year. What I would do if I was operating this NGO in northern France, this is how Raven would operate. And guys, look, I've set these training camps up and these facilities and these I've done this all around the world. Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Erbil, although I know Erbil's part of Iraq. Ukraine. Where else have I set one up? All the places that are difficult to operate. So I know how to set these things up, and I would set this up with accompanying social media and a website every morning, like the warm-up. The warm-up I share with you guys of Ukraine. We would have an interactive warm-up of the beaches between Calais and Dunkirk. Every morning, there would be videos of guys walking up and down that beach with items located, security reports uploaded to our website. So you guys who are donating, you guys who are funding this, you guys would see where your money's going, right? I think this would cost £1 million a year, and we would stop the boats from that section of northern France. That would cost 1 million a year, and that money, that 1 million a year, that would go, obviously, the accommodation. People are going to have to live somewhere. We're going to have to buy a villa, rent a villa, I guess. We're going to have to have legal expenses. There's going to be food. There's going to be training equipment. There's going to be vehicles. There's going to be fuel. When the guys get to Calais, when the guys get to Calais, we take care of them from there. So we take volunteers from the UK. As soon as they get to Calais, we pay for everything. We literally pay for everything. Right, you're in Calais, your name's down there, you come over, and we go over on the whatever, not Calais, sorry, either Dover or Folkestone. Sorry, guys, I'm jumping ahead of myself. When you get to Dover or Folkestone, depending how we work it, we're either going to work it on the I think we might go over on the ferry, actually. It was a nice trip on the ferry. I think we'd go over on the ferry. Yeah, I think we go over on the ferry. It's lit, but you get to go in a lounge on the ferry. So we go over on the ferry. I brief everyone up on the ferry. When we get to the other end, we walk off. There's minibuses waiting for us. They take us to the villa. I brief everyone up, and then we start work. Every morning we're out. There's drone footage. We're stopping the boats. We would stop the boats, guys. And then we'd have to work with the local police. We'd have to work with the local French legal framework, and we can do that. We can literally do that. These guys that are going out there on their own, these guys that are going out there on their own, they're going to get arrested. If you work for an NGO and you're doing NGO stuff, that's already got that legal framework, and that's been accepted by the French. Right, let me jump down, guys. Let me jump down. Good. Right, guys, I'm gonna get some comments, and I'm gonna talk more about this guy, Zach Polensky. So Zach Polensky is the leader. Zach Polensky is the leader of the Green Party, and he is right now out in France, or he might be back now, I don't know. But he either was out in France or he is out in France, and he is actively helping migrants come to the United Kingdom. Eric Fernandez is saying, I've been following this in the British people losing their heritage and also their rights for a while now. If it wasn't for Tommy Robinson, everybody would still be sleeping. Yeah, I mean, look, he was one of the first people who was going around and talking about these grooming gangs. He was talking about these grooming gangs, and, nobody would listen to him. Nobody would listen to him. Absolutely nobody would listen to him. It turns out he was right all along. Katrina is saying, once you've cleaned the beaches, what would you do with the migrants and the ones with guns? Okay, so first of all, we would be the mission, and this is where you've got to fit into this legal framework, guys, okay? So the mission would be to clean the beaches. Now, if there's no boats, if there's no rubber dinghies, if there's no fuel, if there's no outboard motors on the beach, they can't cross. That's the reality. They can't swim across. Black people are not very good at swimming. They have heavy bones, guys. All right, they're different. So they won't be able to swim across. So the task would be to stop the boats. The migrants and the ones with guns, there's nothing we could do about them. That would be a problem for the French police. The task of the NGO when they go out there would be to stop the boats. And if there's no boats on the beach, they can't cross. Now, one of the things that was really apparent to me very quickly, if you think about northern France, right, the shoreline is very big. Now, if you think about northern France and the shoreline that you can cast off from, it starts to get narrower. And it even starts to get narrower when you think about the road access to those beaches. So those rubber dinghies, they have to be driven down there. Those rubber dinghies absolutely have to be driven down there. So, and then they're, okay, so the way I think it works, and I don't know if this is how it works, I would speculate, you know, realistically, the only way you can do it is you go and drop a rubber dinghy off the night before, and then the next day, the migrants know where it is. They get the rubber dinghy and they go. That rubber dinghy has to have vehicle access. So now you narrow it down even more because there's only so many beach entry points that you can drive towards, you know. So you keep narrowing it down again and again, and eventually, you know, you could easily stop the boats. Now, you know, once we've cleared the beaches, what would you do with the migrants? That is not, you know, nothing. I would do nothing with that, because that would not, when you start doing that, when you start talking about people management, that is a totally different, that's a totally different dynamic, and only the French police will be able to deal with that, especially the ones with guns. As an NGO, we're not going to go shooty. We're not going to go full combat mode. Eric Ferdinands is saying your prime minister is a fairy, and I think he's also stealing a lot of money, billions of dollars from the British people. Well, it's pounds from the British people, but I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I watched the film when he discovered that they had tried to cover up that whole scandal with the boy, that's an immigrant boy lie. I don't know what that means, mate. I don't know what that means. Right, listen, guys, let me jump back onto this guy, Polensky, whatever his name is. So this is an article that's out this morning. No, actually, this is the 9th of, oh God, this is a while ago. This is the 9th of December. Right, okay, okay. Why am I only finding out this now? Right, okay, so this is the headline, okay? I'm not going to show it with you. I'm not going to show it because there's loads of ads and there's a paywall. But this is an article from the Telegraph on the 9th of December at 0600 GMT. So Zach Polensky's immigration outburst typifies the snobbery of the middle-class left. According to the Green Party leader, and this is not me saying this, guys, this is not me saying it, all right? According to the Green Party leader, we need more migrants because I don't particularly want to wipe someone's bum. So he literally wants the migrants to come here to be slaves. Is that not racist? Are these woke people not against that sort of stuff? And this brings me back to when I used to work in northeast Syria. You guys can Google this. A place called Membeach. Is it MENBEJ? Membeach? I don't know. Membeach or Membeach. So I used to work in northeast Syria in a place called Membeach. And we had an office in Membeach, and we had an office in Kobani as well, which is just further to the northeast of that location. Now, we had a load of like liberals, basically. The office was full of liberals. It was like a living hell for me when I had to get in the office every morning, guys. It was horrific. You know, it was horrific. And also, I'll be honest with you guys, I preferred going out with the Syrians. I do, because you know, I preferred going out with the Syrians. You know, because there are good people. It just seems here in the United Kingdom we don't get that. So I'd spend as little time as I could in the office with them. But I can remember, like, some of the most horrifically racist things I've ever heard are from these so-called liberals. You know, these so-called, these so-called activists. And, you know, when you've got this guy, Zach Polensky, saying, we need more migrants because I don't want to wipe someone's bum. I thought they were all supposed to be doctors and engineers and scientists. It's absolutely wild what's happening right now, guys. And for those of you guys who don't know, this guy was out in northern France. He's been out in northern. No, it is from today. Sorry, there's another article from today. So he's out in Cali. I think it is right now, or it might not be. It doesn't matter. So this guy, Zach Polensky, he's the leader of the Green Party, and he's out in northern France, and he's helping the NGOs. He's helping them supply helping them supply the migrants with their food and water. Because he wants more slaves for the grinder. He wants more slaves. Wants more slaves for my robot army. So in response, so like I just said, that article, he says he doesn't want, he wants more migrants because he doesn't want to wipe somebody's bum. He says, I'm not going to apologize. Mr. Polanski also, and this is an article from Sky News released today, Mr. Polanski also responded to the criticism he attracted over his comments about care workers on Question Time last week, where he told the audience, I don't know about you, but I don't particularly want to wipe someone's bum. His comments have been criticised by a number of Labour MPs, including Wes Streeting. I don't trust that guy. I don't trust Wes Streeting, guys. He's not somebody I trust either. His comments have been criticised by a number of Labour MPs, including Wes Streeting, the Health Secretary, who said, social care isn't just wiping someone's bum. It's a hard, rewarding, skilled professional job. And when people talk about doctors coming to the United Kingdom, like, it's the worst thing that we could do. It really is the worst thing that we could do, guys. Like, first of all, I don't really trust doctors who did their education in, like, I don't know, Bangladesh. I don't trust them. I don't trust, I don't trust a doctor who went to Indian medical school. I don't trust them guys. I would trust doctors who got their medical degree in a good Western university. I would, a good Western university. They're the doctors I trust. Not a Bangladeshi doctor or an Eritrean doctor or a Congolese doctor. And when we're importing all these doctors, right, it's just exacerbating the problem. First of all, a lot of the people that they have to see are foreign people who have come here anyway. So if we got rid of, if there weren't so many foreign people in the United Kingdom, I don't think we'd need as many doctors and nurses. Anyway, but what happens in their home countries? When we steal all the doctors from Bangladesh, Pakistan, Eritrea, South Sudan, when we've got all these doctors in our country, let's just say they're at the same standard. What happens to their countries? Oh, we've got no medical care here. Right, where have all the doctors gone? Oh, they've all gone to the United Kingdom. All right, get yourself over to see the doctor. It's like the worst thing you could possibly do. Honestly, like on a global spectrum, importing doctors from countries with sick people, it's kind of sick. Right, let me jump up, guys. I'll get some comments and then I'll come back onto what we've been talking about, guys. Because ladies and gentlemen, if you're joining if you've not done so already, actually, if you're on, guys, and you've not done so already, I do apologize first of all about the spelling mistakes in the title, but I was in a rush when I was doing it. We are talking about Christianity. This was a last-minute topic that I threw in there because the Church of England. You're gonna need to say this one back to yourself, guys. I promise you. You will need to say this back to yourself. The Church of England are criticizing Christianity. Yep, they are. They're criticizing Christianity. They're really angry about Christianity on the rise. They're so furious. The vicars and the woke vicars and the bishops, they're so furious, guys. They are so furious about Christianity in the United Kingdom. And they're so angry. They're so angry, the Christians, guys. The Church of England are so angry that people are holding crosses and people are turning to. They're furious. They're furious. So I'm going to be talking about that. And we're also talking about British politicians now over in France actively helping the migrants cross over into the United Kingdom. And of course, my solution, guys, is to form an NGO, and an NGO in northern France that would be to provide security and monitoring to the people of northern France, and it would also be to tidy up those beaches. So that's how you stop the migrant crisis. Let me jump onto the chat, guys, and then I'll go back into that. Claire is saying the only thing they contribute is taking our money. Cleaning money with pop-up vape shops, barber shops, iPhone repair shops, corner shops, Uber Eats, car valet. Yeah, like, so the town... Well, I guess it's not the nearest town, but like one of the nearest towns near, well, it's a village actually. The nearest village where we live. So we live in a village, but it doesn't really. So like our village has a Tesco's, a post office, and a bakery. You know those like Tesco shops, the little Tesco. Are they called Tesco Extra? I don't know. It's ridiculous. It's really expensive in there. Anyway, so we've got a cash machine as well. So that's what we've got in our village. That's like our village strip. But the nearest big village, literally, if you drive through the center of that village, on one street in the space of about 200 meters, I counted 5 barbershops. So you've got 5 barbershops, 2 vape shops, and I don't know how many fast food shops. And I don't mean like, you know what, guys, I'm not going to lie. I do love Middle Eastern food. I do. I love Middle Eastern food. Shashlik, those kebabs, and look, and I'm going to throw it out there. I do the best. I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to put myself on a pedestal here, guys. I probably make the best, most authentic Iraqi kebabs in the whole of the United Kingdom. I don't care if there is Iraqis here well, there will be Iraqis here in the United Kingdom. I'm going to say I make the best Iraqi kebabs in the United Kingdom. And guys, they are fantastic. I love Iraqi kebabs. Cheryl Hubberstone is saying he is giving billions away, but yet not if when we go to war, we don't have enough military equipment to fight. People who let them shock are just as bad as them. White or not, support your own people. People who use them... Shops. I think you mean shops. Right, okay. I think you mean shops. Okay, right, okay. I think you mean shops. Can you guys remember when Anthony Joshua came out and told people not to use white people's shops? There's a word that comes to mind when I think of that phrase. Right, there's quite a lot of comments in the chat about the king. I don't know where they started. I don't know where it started. If you've been following my channel, you've been listening to what I say. I've been saying I don't feel there's going to be a King William. I don't think there's going to be a King William, guys. Not a chance. I don't think there's going to be a King William. Did you guys see when so I know we've got people on here from other countries. So imagine this right now. You have Prince William, Princess Kate, and their family. They all went to a public event to turn on a Christmas tree light. I can't remember when it was, a couple of days ago. If this was Charles and Diana, the streets would be full. There'd be people taking pictures. Nobody turned up. I don't mean there was a few people there. I mean nobody turned up. So you've got the princess, you've got the prince, you've got the next queen. They turned up to turn these Christmas, they turned up to pay these, they turned up to turn the Christmas lights on. Nobody was there. Nobody cared. So I've been saying for a long time, guys, that the United Kingdom, we're not going to see a King William. This is going to be the last king. We're probably going to have King Trump. We are, guys. We're probably going to have King Trump, but I welcome that. I welcome King Trump. His mum was Scottish. Trump's mum's birth name is actually MacLeod. I don't know if you guys know that or not. Eric is saying, so why are the British people paying taxes to the idiot governments if they're not doing anything? Because we don't have a constitution. Here in the United Kingdom, we do not have a constitution. So we have no legal... Okay, so Eric, in the United States, you guys have a Second Amendment, which, people think that the Second Amendment is about owning guns. It's not. It's about having the ability to oppose your government if they default on their constitutional contract, right? Because your constitution, a constitution is it's an agreement between the people and the government. This is what's expected of me, and this is what's expected of you. I won't fuck up, yeah? And you don't fuck up. If you fuck up, we'll send you to jail. If we fuck up, you guys have got guns. You guys use your guns. That's what the Second Amendment is all about. So here in the United Kingdom, if we don't pay our taxes, we get sent to jail. And we've got no way of resisting that. And this is one of the tropes of this channel. I've kind of gone off it for a while. But we don't have any. Like honestly, we don't have any way of resisting. Legally, I mean. And everything has to be done legally, guys. Oh, Claire is saying, Prince William knows the corruption of the past, present, and future. I like them too. I hope they make a change. No, it's just not going to happen, guys. The situation's too far gone. The situation's too far gone. Mark is fine. No, I always get this. I always get this, guys. I always get this. Okay, look, guys. We don't have a constitution in the UK. We don't. I promise you, we don't have a constitution. People get mistaken because people talk about the English Constitution, all right? But the English Constitution, it's not a document. It's a series of documents that make up the English Constitution. Now, the problem with that is it's heavily interpreted. It's not taught in schools. And the reason and it's complicated. It can be reinterpreted for different matters. And there's so many overlapping things. So, for example, in the United States, they teach the Constitution at school, right? They teach the Constitution at school. Now, they don't teach that Constitution at school to brainwash people. They teach the Constitution at school, so there's no misinterpretation. So people understand what it means. Because the English Constitution, which is, I know you're referring to it, isn't actually a document. It's a series of documents, and they're heavily, they can be heavily misinterpreted and reinterpreted by different barristers and different legal companies. Right, guys, let me jump back onto this. I'm going to jump right back to the beginning. I'm just going to jump right back to the beginning. So there is right now, and I'm not making this up, there's an article out this morning. Church of England responds to Tommy Robinson's carol event with a Christmas message, with a Christmas for all message. I'll share that video with you guys in a second. So the release of the 43-second video, again, I'll share that in a second. Listen to this. Just listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to this and mark this. Just listen to what I'm saying here. Senior figures speak out about the dangers of Christian nationalism. The church has released a video in response to a Christmas carol event on Saturday being organized by the far right. I'm just reading this, guys. By the far right. I mean, look, guys, if you think Tommy Robinson's far right, he's absolutely not far right. Not even like he's on the right. He's nowhere near far right. It's ridiculous to say that he is. He's not. Anyway, well, where was I? In response to the Christmas Carol event on Saturday being organised, and I'm reading this from an article, guys, that was released in The Guardian this morning, Saturday the 13th of December at 0700. This is the Church of England. I can't believe I'm saying this. The Church of England criticising a Christmas Carol event. Yep. No, you heard that right. The Church of England are criticising challenging a Christmas Carol event that's going to be held in London today. I'm not making that up. I'm going to read the article. Released the video in response to Christmas Carol event. I keep saying that, don't I? I keep going around in circles. To Christmas Carol event on Saturday being organised by the far-right activist Tommy Robinson amid calls from growing numbers of senior church figures to challenge Christian nationalism. In the 43-second video, Christmas Isn't Cancelled, posted to the church's YouTube channel, more than 20 people from the Archbishop of York to school children speak out about the joy, love, and hope of Christmas. The message is simple, a reminder that Christmas belongs to all of us. I'm pretty sure it doesn't belong to Muslims. I'm pretty sure it doesn't belong to anyone, other than Christians. I'm pretty sure of that, guys. I am pretty sure of that. But anyway, we'll get on with the article. It's a simple reminder that Christmas belongs to all of us. And everyone is welcome to celebrate, the Church of England said. Do you know what this seems like to me? My mum's got one of these little dogs. And when it comes in barking, I'll go like, rah, 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 to the little dog, and she goes, whoo, and lays on her back like that with her belly up. What she's doing there is saying, I'm not a threat, I'm not a threat, I'm not a threat, don't hurt me. It's like, it's playing possum, basically. That's what I'm seeing right now. I don't want to play possum. I don't want people to play possum. I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of people being possum. But we are seeing this. We are seeing this, right? And I welcome it, guys. I do. I welcome it. I welcome the rise of Christian nationalism. And I don't know if you guys watch the guy on YouTube. I think he's on X as well. He's a Syrian Orthodox Christian. It's the guy who got stabbed. And he gives his sermons, and he's got like this hood on. He's cool. I want that. I want to go to his. I want to be in his church. I want to be in his church. He's cool. If somebody, I should know what his name is. I'll share a video of him on a live stream. A number of its leaders, the Church of England leaders, are speaking out about the danger of Christian nationalism. What? Like people are proud to be Christians and proud of their nation. Oh, God forbid. And the appropriation of Christian symbols. So it's just bonkers, I think we're going to see a new church. Remember, guys, the church is not the buildings, it's the people. The church is not the buildings, it's the people. But I do think this, like, when this is growing. It's growing, guys. It really is. And I for one welcome it, guys, ladies and gentlemen. I for one welcome it. So that's happening right now in the United Kingdom, guys. We have a situation where the Church of England are criticizing Christianity. The same Church of England that lets Muslims pray in their church. And guys, I've got nothing against. I've got a lot against it. Where do we go next? Do we just turn our churches into mosques? Is that what the Church of England wants to do? Turn our churches into mosques? Sure, there's something in the Bible about that. Just on a little constitution thing here, guys, okay? Just a little constitution. Eric, who I believe is in the United States, is saying they teach the Constitution when you go to first grade and throughout your life. Yeah. So the American Constitution, it's for those of you like, look, guys, I get this all the time. I get people saying that we have a constitution in the United Kingdom. We don't. I promise you guys, we don't have a constitution, and it's misleading because we have something called the English Constitution. But the English Constitution is not a document. It's a series of documents. We don't have any document in the United Kingdom, any single document that's called the English Constitution or the British Constitution. Now, because of that, because we don't have that, we have the bigger document that's very difficult to understand. Only legal. It has to have legal interpretation. And because it's not taught in school, that legal interpretation can be misinterpreted, or you can reinterpret it different ways. The US Constitution, like Eric is saying, it's taught in school so everybody understands it and there's no misinterpretation. That's why it's so important, guys. That's why it's so important. Zoe Dean is saying Christmas belongs to Christians. It's like us saying Eid is for everyone. The Muslims would have a right fit. So I'm going to come back to something I said right at the beginning of the live stream. I'm going to come back to something I was saying right at the beginning of the live stream. Nigel, I had it yesterday, but I didn't share it for some reason. Nigel Farage did a video yesterday, and he was saying that nowhere has in London, they've removed every, it doesn't say Happy Christmas or Merry Christmas or anywhere in London. So it does look like they're removing Christmas. I don't know whatever way you can say that, guys. I don't know what other way you can say. I really don't know what other way you can say that. Right, I'm just jumping up here, guys. Guys. Mark is fine. He's saying the English Constitution was taught in schools until 1971, 1972. So what we understand is it's not taught in schools now, right? So it can be reinterpreted by legal companies. The Templar Matt is saying the best way to change the law is act like it is already the law and support the moment, then it turns into public interest, then it becomes the norm. I don't know what that means. That is some fantastic wording. The best way to change the law is to act like it is already the law and support the moment it turns into public interest, then it becomes the norm. I'm just trying to think of how you would put that into practice. I don't know. Right, so we've covered. Right, guys. I'm just looking at the time, and I'm going to close this down in. I am going to close this down in a minute, guys. I'm going to close this down in. I'm going to close this down in a couple of minutes. But listen, guys, if you're jumping on right now, and if you're jumping on for the if you're jumping on for the first time, guys, and you've not done so already, hit the like and the comment and the subscribe button down below. I'm on every morning at 10, every evening at 8. Barring a miracle, and even if there is a miracle, guys, even if there is a Christmas miracle, I'll still get on. I'll try and do it on my phone. We've been talking this morning about Christianity. We've been talking about this carol service in London that's being held today. Actually, I will live stream when it's on, guys. Whatever time it's on, I'll find out and I'll do a live stream when that's on. We've been talking about that and how the Church of England, you can't make this up, guys. You really can't make this up. The Church of England are criticizing Christianity. Yep, they are. The Church of England are criticizing Christianity. Also, we now have, as we speak, British politicians out in northern France helping the migrants, helping the migrant crisis, exacerbating it, giving it legitimacy, helping those people across. Guys, look, the solution to the migrant crisis is simple. start. Do you know what? I'm going to jump straight back on. Actually, I'm going to do another live stream this morning, and it's just going to be a standalone live stream. It'll be about 5 minutes, and it's just going to be how to stop the migrant crisis. All right, how to stop the boats, basically. I'm going to do a live stream straight after this on that, but basically, we need to set up our own NGO. We need to set up our own NGO in northern France. And that NGO in northern France will be there to provide security and monitoring to the people of northern France. Because look, guys, if you live in northern France, it's bad. It will provide security and monitoring for the people of northern France and to tidy up the beaches. We're going to be tidying up the beaches because if we see any rubber dinghies that are just lying around, they need to be tidied up because it's rubbish. You know, if we see any outboard motors, they need to be tidied up because that's rubbish. They need to be handed into the local authorities because it's rubbish. So that's what needs to happen, you know. And that would be how you stop the boats. Yes, you're still going to have migrants in northern France wanting to come over. Yes, you're still going to have criminal elements out there. Yes, you're going to still have this problem, but you will have stopped the boats. That's how you do it, guys. That's the only way to do it. These guys that are going out there, they're doing a fantastic job. They're going to end up in prison. They're going to end up in jail. They're going to get banned from the country. It's not going to end well for them. When you do this under the, when you do this under the guise of an NGO, you have that legal framework. So in that context, when the police come to you and you're on the beach and you've got a rubber dinghy on your shoulder, you say, what you do? You say, oh, I work for, I don't know, Raven for France or whatever. I work for Raven for France. This is what we're doing. This is our paperwork. This is our authority. The police go, right, okay, fair enough. Off you go. That's what happens, guys. That is literally what happens. When these guys are out there on their own, and the police come up to them, what are you doing? How do they know that's not theft? You know, they get arrested. And then the police have to deal with the NGO, and then you take them to court, and it's a mass legal battle. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to close this down now. You guys have been fantastic. I am going to jump straight back on in a couple of minutes, and I'm going to do another live stream. I don't know if I'll have the chat open on that one, but I just want to do like a quick, short 5-minute video on how to stop the boats. And, you know, because I do think people need to understand that, guys. I really do. I think people need to understand that. Oh, hang on, just before I go. So Eric is saying everybody in the United States has to pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. Well, here in the United Kingdom, you know, our politicians, when they get, I don't know if you know this, Eric, but when our politicians get sworn in, a lot of them swear on the Quran. So they have a Quran there and they will say, I am faithful to the Quran or whatever they say. Yeah, absolutely crazy. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to close this down now. You guys are fantastic. I will be back on in a couple of minutes or whatever once I've had another cup of tea. And I'll do a short live stream. I don't know if the chat will be on that. I just want that as a standalone to House Stop the Boats. And I will be back on this evening, ladies and gentlemen, at 8 as normal. I'll catch you guys later.